Have you ever wondered how some people remain completely calm, even when they're insulted, betrayed, or disrespected? Not a twitch, not a raised voice, just stillness. It's almost unnatural, isn't it? Like they've trained their soul to be a fortress. But maybe, just maybe, they've discovered something most of us haven't. The secret to never letting anyone make you angry. Let me tell you this. There's a fire inside every person. You, me, everyone. It's quiet, but it's there, waiting, watching. And when someone crosses the line, when they lie, betray us, talk behind our back, or make us feel small, that fire flares up. It burns in our chest. Our hands tremble, our heart races, and for a few seconds, rage feels like power. But what if I told you that fire, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to forge you. The illusion of power. Why anger feels strong but leaves you weak. We've been taught to believe that anger is strength. That shouting back means we've won. That slamming doors, cutting people off, and putting them in their place makes us powerful. But the truth is, anger is a cheap currency. It buys nothing but regret. Anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can lash out, but not everyone can stay calm. You want to know real power? Real power is silence. It's staying still when you could erupt. It's smiling when others expect you to break. Anger is easy. Discipline? That's rare. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." When you get angry, you're not proving your strength. You're revealing your weakness, your inability to stay grounded when tested. So today, we walk a different path, a quieter path, one where we no longer react like wounded animals, biting back because we've been hurt. Instead, we walk as warriors, not of violence, but of composure. Step 1. Expect every man to be broken. Let me ask you something. Why are we still shocked when people disappoint us? Why do we act surprised when someone lies, cheats, gossips, or lets us down? Here's the truth we don't want to admit. Most people are broken. Not in an obvious way, not in a visible way, but quietly, deeply, secretly. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in Meditations, Book 2, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Why would an emperor start his day with such a gloomy thought? Because it was realistic, because it prepared him. When you expect imperfection, you stop being shocked by it. Disappointment is a direct child of expectation. You thought they'd always be kind. You thought they'd never lie. You thought they'd treat you the way you treat them. That's not their fault. That's your illusion. Let go of it. You want peace? Stop expecting broken people to act whole. Most people haven't even met themselves. They're at war inside. Silent wars. Emotional battles. Crushing insecurities. Generational trauma. And most of them, they're losing. So when they lie to you, insult you, betray your trust, don't be shocked. Be ready. You don't prepare for war in the battle. You prepare before. Your mind, like a soldier, must be trained long before the chaos begins. Because when the chaos hits, the only thing that will save you is your preparation. Step 2. Anger isn't caused by them. It's caused by you. This might sting a little. Your anger isn't their fault. It's yours, not because you deserve the pain, but because you believed in a lie. You believed they wouldn't fail you. You believed they were better than they are. And when they showed you their truth, It clashed with your illusion, and that created the pain. Understand this. Anger is the tension between reality and expectation. It's what happens when the world doesn't fit the picture in your head. So how do you remove anger? Remove the illusion. Stop telling yourself how people should behave. Start accepting how they do. This doesn't mean you excuse it. It means you don't get caught off guard by it. Step 3. Their behavior is not about you. What's the first thing we think when someone lashes out at us? What did I do wrong? Why would they treat me like that? But here's a radical truth. Most of the time, their behavior has nothing to do with you. They're not reacting to you. They're reacting to themselves, to their own pain, their own guilt, their own bitterness. Epictetus, another Stoic, said in Discourses, Book 1, when someone does you wrong, you must say to yourself at once, it is for this very purpose that I trained myself. Let them roll their eyes. Let them talk behind your back. Do not respond with rage. Respond with readiness. You trained for this. You expected this. You are not shaken. A soldier doesn't tremble because the enemy fired a shot. He knew it was coming. So should you. Pause. The power of not reacting. There's a moment. A single moment. Right after the insult. Right before your reaction. It's like standing at a cliff. You could jump. You could explode. Or you could pause. Just for one breath. That pause? It's everything. It's where control lives. It's where power hides. It's where peace begins. Train yourself to live in that space. Stretch it, hold it, master it, because the person who controls that pause controls the room. The strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. They might raise their voice. They might storm off. They might throw insults like daggers. But the person who stays calm, who doesn't flinch, who speaks slowly, clearly, and with purpose, they own the room. People don't remember who shouted. They remember who stayed unbothered. Don't be the storm. Be the mountain. Final thought. You were made for more than rage. You weren't born to lose yourself in every offense. You weren't built to be controlled by every petty comment. You were made for more. You were made to rise above, to observe instead of react, to train your fire, not to burn others, but to refine yourself. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, this is your training. This is your moment. This is the fire forging you into something unshakable. Now that we've learned to tame the fire, let's look deeper into why people lash out at all. And how understanding this can make you not only calmer, but untouchable. The power of stillness and the art of letting go. Earlier, we talked about the fire inside us, the one that, when untrained, turns us into reactive, impulsive versions of ourselves. But when forged by understanding, it becomes quiet strength. Now we go deeper, because knowing how to expect brokenness in others is only the beginning. What do you do when the storm hits anyway? When someone pushes you, disrespects you, tests your patience? This is where real composure is born, not from theory, but from practice. Let them speak. Let them show themselves. There's something powerful about letting people talk. Let them ramble. Let them insult. Let them mock. Why? Because when someone is acting from anger, bitterness, or insecurity, they don't hide it well. Their words are like mirrors. They reveal far more about their own inner world than they do about you. Epictetus, in Discourses, Book 1, offered a timeless truth. Let them speak. Let them act. Let them reveal what they truly are. And when they do, don't interrupt. Don't argue. Just observe. Because in that moment, you'll see something clear as day. Their behavior says everything about them, and nothing about you. You are not the stormkeeper of another soul. Picture this. Someone storms into your life, carrying thunder in their voice and lightning in their eyes. They slam emotional doors. They rattle your peace. They want to pull you into the chaos. But that chaos? It isn't yours. You didn't create the storm in their soul. You are not the wind. You are not the thunder. You are not the rain. You are only responsible for one thing: your shelter, your internal weather, your soul. So when they push, when they provoke, when they seem to beg you to fall into the old cycle of shouting and reaction, don't give them what they want. React not with rage, but with revelation. Show them, without words, that you are no longer ruled by impulse. That your emotions no longer drive your decisions. That the old version of you, the one who fought fire with fire, has been buried. And in that stillness, they'll see a reflection, not of you, but of themselves, their noise, their lack of control, their desperation to be seen, to win, to dominate. And that reflection? That's torment. A deeper torment than any rage could ever inflict. Because rage is expected. Stillness? That's terrifying. It forces them to look inward. And most people are running from exactly that. Delay. The most powerful weapon against anger. Now here's something that seems simple, but takes real discipline to live. Delay. Seneca, in On Anger, Book 3, wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." That's it, one word, delay. But why is it so effective? Because anger feeds on momentum. It wants to move fast. It wants you to speak before thinking, to slam the door before breathing, to act before understanding. Anger thrives on reaction. So what happens when you pause? You cut its fuel. You hold back the flood. You interrupt the pattern. And you give reason, your old friend, your wise ally, a chance to return. Why they want you angry? You think they want peace? No. They want control. They want you unhinged. Because the man who loses control, he may win the argument, but he loses the war. Why? Because anger hijacks the throne of reason. It storms into the palace of your mind, throws the crown of self-control into the dirt, and convinces you that acting on impulse was worth it. It never is. You walk away feeling righteous, maybe, but mostly, you feel hollow, regretful. You replay the conversation in your head, rewriting your responses, wishing you'd said less, or more, or nothing. Anger robs you of clarity. So we must learn to delay. Let the fire pass through like wind through a canyon. There's a beautiful metaphor I once heard. Let anger pass through you like wind through a canyon. Do not fight it. Do not cling to it. Do not follow it. Just let it pass. Close your eyes. Breathe deep. And imagine the anger like smoke drifting by. It doesn't stain the canyon. It doesn't leave a mark. It simply moves on. You are the canyon. Wide, deep, still. Let the winds come. Let the fire burn itself out. You remain. That's strength. Not shouting louder. Not proving your point. But standing calmly in the center of chaos and not flinching. Remove the fuse. You want to be untouchable? Remove the fuse from your soul. Let them bring their sparks. Let them wave their matches. Let them hurl their words like fireballs. They will try to light you up, but there will be nothing to ignite. Just cool stone. Just calm air. Just silence. And they will burn, alone. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. This is the hardest lesson for many. We think forgiveness is a gift to those who wronged us. But that's only half the truth. Seneca, in Letters to Lucilius, put it perfectly. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from their grip. Because anger ties you to them. It keeps the wound fresh. It replays the betrayal over and over in your mind like a cruel film on repeat. But when you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you no longer want to carry it, you take back your power. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is dominance over the self. It's looking in the mirror and saying, I refuse to let this anger live in me any longer. Because your mind is your kingdom. And there's no space for resentment in a kingdom ruled by wisdom. Final reflection. You hold the key, so let them speak. Let them act. Let them do what they do. You stand still. Not because you're passive, not because you're afraid, but because you've trained for this. You are no longer the person who reacts to every storm. You've learned to see their fire and let it pass. You've learned to protect your inner fortress, no matter what chaos rages outside. Because your peace, it is earned, through delay, through observation, through forgiveness. And now, let's take the next step. Because understanding anger is one thing, but mastering it, that's a lifelong practice. And there's one more truth you need to hear. The one thing that turns composure into real power. We just spoke of a simple yet powerful truth. We don't forgive to set others free. We forgive to release ourselves from the shackles of anger. From here, we step into a deeper realm, where self-control is no longer a theory, but a vital act of the spirit. This is self-mastery, not dominance over others, not victory over the world, but the conquest of the turbulent emotions smoldering within us. Because if we cannot master ourselves, we will always be controlled, not by the actions of others, but by the echoes of what they once did to us. We don't forgive to absolve them of guilt. We forgive so we are no longer bound to the corpse of old rage. Does that image feel heavy? A corpse, lifeless, yet dragged through the corridors of our mind for years. Every time we recall it, it's like chaining ourselves to it once again. That corpse feels no pain, but we still bleed. To keep holding on is to bleed slowly, not in a sharp, clean cut, but drop by drop, day by day. Every memory that resurfaces, every time the heart clenches in resentment, that's life being drained from us. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. No one is asking us to erase the memory. But we let go because we refuse to allow the one who hurt us to live rent-free in our mind. They are no longer here, yet we still hear their voice, still make room for them in our head. And that, truly, is self-punishment without end. We move forward not because our memory fades, but because our will grows stronger. We don't forget the betrayal. We simply refuse to replay that scene like a broken film reel in our minds. Because we understand there's no peace in reliving tragedy. The more we watch, the more we ache, the more we sink into the past, the more we become trapped in it. Only when we rise above, steadily, untouched, unshaken, unbound, do we truly reclaim control of our lives. Power lies not in how we react, but in our ability to transcend. And when emotions surge, especially anger, don't fear it. Welcome it. You feel anger rising? Good. That means the fire is still alive. Now take that fire and build, train, labor, grow with it. That's the difference between a destroyer and a creator. Same fire. One person burns everything down. The other lights up the path ahead. The difference is not in the flame, but in how we use it. Emotions are not the enemy. The real question is, do we let them control us? Or do we learn to transform them into meaningful action? We don't deny anger, nor do we suppress it until it rots inside. We transmute it, we forge it into steel, into action, into legacy, because if left to rot, it becomes a poison, slowly killing our will and compassion from the inside. Picture a blacksmith. He doesn't fear fire. He strikes the red-hot iron with firm hands, each blow purposeful, sweat dripping, and from that heat and pressure, a sharp blade is born. Just the same, from anger, if properly tempered, you can craft a weapon no one can ever take from you: resilience. The philosopher Cleanthes once wrote, "Lead me, Zeus and destiny, to wherever you have assigned me." This is not the resignation of the weak. It is the voice of a warrior who embraces his mission, not driven by emotion, but by discipline, not guided by fury, but by self-control. So when the world screams, we don't need to scream back. Let them shout, accuse, slander. Let them do what they will. We are not here to reflect them. We are here to master ourselves. Maybe you've been in that moment, when everything around you was chaos. When the noise was deafening. When emotions surged like a flood. And you stood there, clenched fists, tight lips, not out of fear, but because you chose the harder path. Silence, restraint, and reasoned action. That is the invisible victory, the greatest kind. Because anyone can react, but only the strong can restrain. Anyone can explode in anger, but only the mature know how to transform it. And in that moment, you rose above, not above others, but above the vulnerable self within. That is a strength no one can steal. Not fake toughness, but powerful stillness, the kind that halts any storm in its tracks. And if you are still carrying fire, use it to forge yourself. Let it drive you to stand up, to learn, to persevere, and to build something better. Don't let it consume what you've worked so hard to build. Don't let it turn you into a reflection of the one who hurt you. They chose the path of destruction. They used fire to burn. But you are learning to use fire to light the way. And that is what makes the difference between darkness and light. And so, we do not react blindly, but act with deliberate strength. Like the blacksmith who uses fire to forge steel, we use the storm within to forge resilience. Each moment of restraint is not weakness, it is refinement. Each decision to not retaliate is not surrender, it is strategy. Because the one who masters the fire within is not consumed by it, but tempered by it. Picture a great warrior standing still as chaos rages around him. While others shout, curse, or flee in panic, he remains grounded, not because he feels nothing, but because he sees clearly. That is the essence of discipline. Not numbness, but emotional mastery. We don't become strong by avoiding the fire. We become strong because we've walked through it, shaped it, and carried it without letting it burn our soul. That's why we forgive, not to excuse. Not to forget, but to free ourselves. Because when we cling to anger, we chain ourselves to the past. We carry a burden we were never meant to bear forever. Letting go doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It means, I choose not to let this define who I am. And that choice? That's where true power begins. So when betrayal cuts deep, when your chest burns with rage, remember, that fire is not only destruction, it is potential. Channel it, refine it, let it fuel your work, your focus, your endurance. Let it become your legacy. We are not here to reflect the world's chaos. We are here to master ourselves, so that no matter how fierce the storm, we remain the calm at the center. unshaken, unmoved, unbound. If this message speaks to something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. There's someone out there, tired, burning, lost in the noise, who might need to hear this too. Share this with them, like it if it resonates. And let's remind the world, the fire within us doesn't have to destroy us. It can shape us.